Hi, everybody. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about research at the hardware store. And so, uh, I've seen a lot of people where they think that doing research for their project just means going to the internet and looking around, finding other examples of how this technology might be done. But there's a lot more to it. For example, when I'm working a project, whether it's a home project or maybe it's a project for work or even working on my car, a lot of the ways that I think about it is first I go find out what kind of equipment is already available to do what I want to do. For example, if I want to do some tiling, well, I want to find out what kind of tile is available first, or what kind of tools do I need? How much is it going to cost me? Can I afford all of these things? And so one of the first things I'll do is go to the hardware store and look around and find out if they have things that match what I'm trying to do. It doesn't matter which hardware store you go to. The point is, you need to go to some place that has the kind of equipment that you're looking for. Now, whether you go to Home Depot or you go to Lowe's or Ace Hardware or your local hardware store, it doesn't matter as much as you're looking for what is available. And sometimes I have to go to a couple of them. For example, for some things, I go to Ace Hardware store because they have a little bit more variety of different things, but they may not have lots of variety of one product. So they might only have one or two manufacturers that supply them with hammers. But if I go to Home Depot or Lowe's, they might have 20 different brands of different hammers, and that might be valuable for me. Being aware of what's in those hardware stores is really valuable. I'm going to take you through a little bit of a hardware store. So I went over to an Ace hardware store and just took pictures of some of the things that might be valuable for you. So here's some ideas. Here you'll see that this is a collection of different kind of pipe fittings and pipe, and I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on each of these. So, for example, here I have some pipe, right? You can see that I've got some great big long pieces. I've got some shorter pieces. I've got aluminum pipe. I've got steel pipe. I've got PVC and I've got PEX. So these are all different things that might have some value to you. And if you just kind of browse around in the store, you might be able to find something that matches what you're looking for. And do you have to buy it right away? No, just make yourself aware of what's available and how you might be able to use it later on. Look at all of these fittings. These fittings have solved so many other people's problems. Maybe they will solve yours as well. Lots of different sizes, lots of different thicknesses, right? Now, look at all of these other materials. I can get fittings that are in brass, in steel, stainless steel, bronze, right? There are parts for the sink, for underneath the sink. Well, you're not repairing the sink, but maybe you have a need for that bend or that curve. And you'll notice some of these even extend and contract and bend so that you can make it fit a shape that you want, right? So there's a lot of different options that are available just by walking through if you have problems related to whether it's airflow or liquid flow or something like that at the hardware store. Okay. Now, another place that's always really important to me are the brackets because I'm trying to hold one thing in place while something else is either moving or not moving, right? And so notice if I pick up these brackets, um, they're all kind of big and broad. They're really thin. It means that I can bend them and make them fit the kind of shape that I'm looking for. If I look at some of these clips in these brackets, these are really tough and sturdy, right? Some of them, you'll notice this set has, they're spring loaded. And so they're clips that will hold handles for a shovel or a broom or something like that. Would those match something that you need? Okay. And look at all of the different types of hooks. There's ones that have a big curve on them. There are some of them that are really thick and sturdy. So these kind of things, just walking through the store might give you some ideas of what you're trying to solve for you as well. Another set, do you need some brackets that are shaped in a different way, much smaller? Do you need some in brass? Do you need some in steel? Look at the eye hooks that are in this one. You've got U brackets and U bolts. You have, I mean, are you trying to get some string to slide through something? That eye bolt might really make it decrease the friction and make it easier for whether it's a chain, whether it's a wire or whatever, be able to slide much easier, right? Now looking over here at this one, we've got hinges. How many different types of hinges can you find at a hardware store? Do you need a big hinge? Do you need a little hinge? Do you need something that's really sturdy? What about handles? How many different types of handles do we have in this example, right? So look through a lot of these different options and see what you have available. Maybe they don't have what you want at all, but by looking through here, it gives you a better idea of what you might need to produce yourself. A lot of people have never played with a spring. Maybe you've taken apart a pin and you found the little spring in there, but of course that may not fit what you're trying to do. Whether you're doing a jumping robot or you're doing a trash ejector or something like that, you might be looking for a much different type of spring. Well, you go to the right hardware store and you're going to have a big selection of different things. Look at all of the variety here, whether it's compression or extension. They've got cone and barrel types of springs. They've got springs with hooks on the end. They've got springs without any hooks on the end. And so it gives you a variety of things to look through. And the best part about it is you can sit there with your fingers and pull on it and push on it and decide whether that's the version that you want. And so uh, make sure you go through these kind of bins to see what's available. Now there's a lot of other handles here. Now these are a little bit more pricey, but does your product need something that is a little bit more higher end or a specific style that you're looking for to be able to match how you want to grip that handle? There's also pull knobs. Now, here I brought these pull knobs up just because they can do other things besides be a pull knob on a drawer. It could be that maybe you need something to slide across a surface. These are awfully smooth and may fit some of those needs. There's also some very specific types of hinges on these. And so look through each one of these rows at the hardware store, and you're going to be able to find something that matches your needs, or at least comes close, or maybe even brings some new ideas to you. There's also some strange things that I would have never guessed on, right? So, for example, a nut gatherer. The idea is you roll this across the nuts that have fallen in your yard, and the nuts get pushed in between these metal springs, and now it's captured, and you can pick them up and then drop them in a trash can or whatever. I would have never thought of that if I hadn't seen one. So somebody else had some great ideas. Is there a value to something like that? Does it give you a new idea when you're for what you're working on? Here they've got some silly things, but they also have some new ideas that I wouldn't have thought about. How do you use a leaf scoop? Is there something special about that shape that might be valuable for what you're working on? Maybe some of you are trying to grow some plants where there's some really cheap ways to be able to plant those seeds into something that's biodegradable and can handle the water for a short time period. Notice down here, we've got these 12 to 14-inch wire cocoa hanging basket drip pan. These go under a plant, but when you pick these up, they're nice clear domes. This may be valuable if you're working on the lunar supply pod garage. What about tools? Maybe you're looking for some way to measure something special that you haven't done before. Well, guess what? They have a lot of different kind of tools just right at the hardware store. And even if they don't carry what you want, they may have something that points you in a direction. The people at the hardware store are really helpful. They've worked through a lot of different projects, whether it's at home or at work or something else, and they have some great ideas of how to solve different problems. Suggest it to them, and they might be able to help you out. Now, I know that a lot of people are using hot glue. Hot glue is terrific sometimes, except when it's not. Sometimes hot glue builds up in one area and then it just looks ugly. So go to the hardware store and check out some of the different types of glue that might do a much better job on your application. There are some glues that will not stick to specific surfaces. I mean, for example, Elmer's glue is not going to stick to a plastic very well. Hot glue does not stick very well to some types of wood, and it depends on what that surface treatment is of the wood. Hot glue does not stick very well to metal. So, what kind of glue do you need? That hardware store is going to give you a good example.